Okay, a lot of talk about, so-called desecration of Arlington Cemetery right now, where they're removing that grotesque thing in the so-called Confederate section of Arlington Cemetery, which I don't think they really belong, but I'm at the U.S. Soldiers Cemetery. It's connected to it because when they were gathering the remains for to make that Confederate section around 1900, they took about 100 remains they had found that got buried in the haste in the 1870s at Arlington Cemetery. And then at this cemetery here, right nearby, is the U.S. Soldiers Cemetery, which was where the Civil War dead was first built. And so I found out that there was actually some insurrectionist, whatever you want to call them, Confederates, insurrectionist remains left here, and they disinterred them and moved them over to Arlington Cemetery to the Confederate section, like I said, around 1900 and stuff. So I just want to say that, the whole thing, let's think about, people say that that's being desecrated, Arlington Cemetery. You know what desecrates Arlington Cemetery to me is equating people who fought for slavery to people who fought for freedom. These people, the people in the Civil War, they fought for freedom for them, and other people, African Americans, and even maybe poor whites 100 years down the road, who knows? But, so let's get that straight. The real desecration is putting a huge, tall statue memorializing men who killed U.S. Army soldiers and fought for slavery right next to men who fought for freedom. So, and the terror that the South did to African Americans, enslaving people, raping American women. The sculpture has a depiction of an African American woman happily raising the white children, from their slave masters that raped them. Has a black man following his master into war and happily helping him in war so he can win the war and continue to enslave him. What the frick? Are you kidding me? Do you think black people would fight to keep themselves enslaved? You know what happened? What really happened? I'll tell you the real history. When they started having tons of insurrections down south, slaves left plantations by the thousands. They turned on their masters, sometimes killed and whipped them. Sometimes they beat them and said, quit beating us. We're going to work now, but you're not going to beat us anymore. Thousands went north looking for the U.S. Army to look for some kind of freedom. So to suggest in any way, shape, or form that black people fought for their enslavement is an insult to freedom, So take that freaking evil thing out of there and let's celebrate people who fought for freedom, So that's my thought on the subjects, So, let's recognize these guys who fought for freedom, not insurrectionists who fought for slavery. The Civil War was about slavery. The lost cause was a lie, and we need to unbrainwash ourselves and get out of it. Read the cornerstone speech of the Vice President of the Confederacy. It said white supremacy was the cornerstone of the Confederacy. Read the Confederate Constitution. It says right in there, the Confederate government will enshrine and protect slavery. Right in their Constitution. Read it. I didn't make this stuff up. Read it. The Confederacy, symbolizes slavery and tyranny. And America is about freedom. Okay? So take that thing out of Arlington Cemetery and melt it down into slag. I know they're going to take it down to VMI and woo-woo over it. My heritage. Well, you know what? If my heritage was about enslaving African Americans, I wouldn't be too proud of that heritage, So, who would agree with me? Is John A. Logan. He laid down his life for freedom to preserve this republic. And you want to honor the people who killed you and soldiers? No, Union first, Union forever.